day is 2-0s, or the entire week is 2-0s. End the day.
Have we had an entire 2-0 week before in the LCK?
I don't know.
That's the thing I want to know.
I actually asked the chat, our group chat for the LCK, obviously, to check on that one. So I'll try to get that information for you guys. That would be
a crazy stat to have. So I guess we'll see. Going to get underway into draft, and we'll see how things shake up, because there's been a little divergence, I guess, from the big four being banned consistently. We've seen Rumble and Karma, Katie slipping through. The Rumble's going to get banned this time. Jace getting banned first rotation is something that I feel like a lot of people don't really see the need with Jace struggling a bit, but I think Zeus is a player who has to be respected. Especially when he has counter pick in this situation. He could pick this on 3, he could pick this on 5. Jace and Vayne taken away. Karma, the expected pick here, but they don't ban it, they ban Ezreal. So no Ezreal Karma. But Kiwoom DRX could take Karma, or they could take Jarvan. I feel like those are the 2 big picks available. They will take the Jarvan. And now for Hanwha Life eSports...
you just gave them Bard as well.
Well, there's Bard.
There's Karma, but I don't know.
Ashe Seraphine. There's a lot of strong bot lane picks that we have to respect. My question is, what is Gumayusi going to be able to play that can be safe against the potential Jarvan and the Bard? Because having someone with mobility would help out there. They are just going to take the Bard away themselves. So not going towards either the Karma or like the Ashe Seraphine themselves. And it looks like they're going to pair that up with the Xin Zhao. So seeing... I say that.
Must be Gangplank, obviously.
Gangplank with the new Deathfire touch is kind of crazy, but we won't see that yet. Xin Zhao coming through for Kanavi, and I expect the bot lane to be picked up here from Kiwoom DRX, but instead, they just go and grab the Gnar. Karma not even getting a look in this situation. Full topside secured for Kiwoom DRX. Obviously, we've seen the Ryze be a lot more higher prio since the patch came through. And now, Hanwha Life eSports can only respond to one of the solo laners, or they can just pick an AD carry in this situation and then respond to neither. And obviously, Kiwoom DRX kind of have to split the bans. They end up going for the Cassiopeia, not the Anivia, which I feel like has been the more common answer.
Yeah, Zeka said Cassiopeia like 5 or 6 times. So he was very clear in the fact that he wanted to play Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
Might be a personal preference.
The Miasma, very strong into the Jarvan. And obviously, Cassiopeia pick that has syncs very well with the new Deathfire touch. Dot champions in general do great with it. Now, though, I feel like you can target... They go for the Gnar first, so Gnar Lulu taken away. Ashe Seraphine with Jarvan is extremely strong. But Kiwoom DRX not banning away top laners in this situation. Instead, going for AD carries. We know Zeus is a player who loves to play the top lane Twisted Fate. We know this matchup players will take into the Gnar. I feel like you might have to throw a ban towards that, or you'll end up facing it down.
Yeah, it's either that, or you just accept the fact that Zeus is going to find something to punish you. They took away 2 of the bigger, more common answers in Jace and Vayne. So maybe you just ban Kate Jin, and you say, well, Guma, you're going to have to dig deeper.
See, my problem with this is that they banned Yanara and they banned Karma, which, by all means, these are solid bans, but Ashe Seraphine is still available for Kiwoom DRX. The Kate Jin makes complete sense into Gumayusi with the Bard pairing as well, but it means you haven't thrown any bans towards Zeus, and I'm a little bit nervous about what he might bring out. Honestly, it's the Gnar matchup. HLE could just pick for Zeus here, and then save Guma's pick till last if they want to see the bot lane matchup. That being said, he could take something like, his MF's been really solid recently.
Tristana.
Going for the Tristana, though, wanting a pick that can get outside the Cataclysm, I think is the main thing. And we haven't really seen much Tristana at all.
That could be in the top lane as well.
A devious thought in me was like, it could. I didn't really want to say it, but it's like, it could.
Didn't we see that? Wasn't that Zeus? Someone did that. Or was that Road to EWC, maybe?
I don't fully remember.
Because I'm almost 100% sure we saw Tristana.
Kiwoom DRX don't go for the Ashe Seraphine in this situation. Instead, they go for the MF Nautilus. And it looks like I don't agree with the Sivir. I think if you want to send the Tristana top lane, that's cool, but Sivir into Jarvan MF feels really bad. So
yeah,
I think it's fine to flex it, the Tristana, but I think you should go in a different direction. They end up locking it in anyway. I think this is difficult for HLE. I think the top lane matchup and the mid lane matchup, the solo lane matchups is obviously good, favorable. Tristana can jump on Gnar's head when he's a mini and just explode him. Cassiopeia into Ryze, we've seen him many times before. I'm concerned about the bot lane matchup. You have Nautilus into Bard. We've seen how rotund his hitbox is. Even grabbing him over walls.
Yeah.
MF is going to have a lot of lane pressure. And then Jarvan into Sivir is a problem. You're going to be playing around that flash so heavily. It's going to be a high-pressure game for Gumayusi here. They do have a backup AD carry and a high DPS mid, but I still think Kiwoom DRX, an easier comp to execute as long as their solo laners can survive. That is the big question.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I think, like you said, if they go all in onto a Sivir and use a bunch of stuff, she's going to have a spell shield for some of it, and then you have Cassio Tristana, so it's like, is it really worth it to go all in onto a Sivir? Apparently, my memory was not failing me. It was Hugh who did play it in the Road to EWC, the Tristana top versus Nongshim. And now we're going to see it here in the LCK. Definitely does look like a fun matchup into the Gnar. As it does look like we're ready to hop onto the rift for game number 1. As we are getting into this one, the fan chants. I did not hear them. But it's okay. Oh. There we go. We got some fan chants of some type.
They do seem very loud. So yeah, it was she who played Tristana top into Gnar specifically. We've been seeing a lot of AD carries top generally to punish.
Well, exhaust taken here by Zeus, and this is going to be quite annoying for Rich, who is basically almost dead.
Rich going the lethal tempo as well to try and battle auto for auto. We also have Andil with the Ignite. Thrown down, doesn't get the heal from Delight though, so big to hold on to that. We'll get the full value of the health from it.
We did have a binding kind of sail wide there.
But honestly, in terms of health, LazyFeel's already pretty chunked. HLE bot lane doing good, considering the threat that this MF Nautilus have.
Level 2 hit here by Zeus. And
Rich has already TP'd.
Yeah, I mean, Vayne is annoying, right? But Tristana can close the gap even quicker, especially from that bush. Rich has a ward there now, but, he's not going to have it forever. The one thing about Tristana is if you do take the E, you can push into Gnar. So maybe Rich can find a way to farm a little bit. As for a moment there, it was level 1 versus level 3.
Yeah. There's missing a couple of CS there, but still just has so much pressure in this lane. I like how HLE are playing this out with Gumayusi positioned very aggressively, knowing that the Dredge line is not a threat to him on Sivir, and Delight kind of playing a little bit behind. But I think the Ignite being gone and the health bar balance right now in the bot lane really makes this unfavorable for Kiwoom DRX. An all-in might not go as they would hope. Might have to get a recall off here if they want to try and find another angle into the lane.
You see that Willer doesn't really have any pressure from bot, so he says, well, I'm just going to go up there. As Zeus was the last one to play this, and it was actually into Keen's TF. So pretty interesting. That did happen a couple of years ago when LCK Spring was still a thing.
That is also a matchup where you're going to try and jump on the enemies. I mean, I feel like you just generally do that on Tristana. Jump on the enemy's head. But obviously, TF with the gold card kind of hold you at bay better than the Gnar can and is currently.
That's the hook, and we actually have Willer here, as that is just going to be the combo. Zeka felt safe with the Bard there, but now he is not very safe and he is dead.
Yeah, great setup there from Andil, and I think just HLE overconfident. Zeka standing up, doesn't use a summoner to avoid the dredge slide, and as soon as it connects, the CC is going to get layered. You are going to go down. At least the wave is being held in a decent position.
LazyFeel actually held on to the double up until that shield was used, then used it afterwards. Nicely done. And, you know, that's the one thing that you can spell shield against an MF. Here comes Andil as the flash comes in. There's the lockdown, and even a flash burned by Guma, but a nice dive here from the side of Andil. It's going to pick up a kill.
Really unfortunate timing because Gumayusi, you can see his barriers available, came up about 2 seconds after he died, but it helped out a lot in that play. The burst damage from the Nautilus MF and the Ignite, Andil commits to the play and makes it work. Now we see that mid play where he got a successful gank off. They're pushing up aggressively, despite the fact they know this could happen. I think they just, as you said, felt confident because the light was there. And then here, barrier so close to being available. Spell shield down because of that earlier trade from LazyFeel, and they know that timing, and that's why Andil commits the flash there to make the play.
Yeah. Pretty insane. Very nice value here out of this Nautilus early on. You know, there was the rough trade at level 1. But after that, Andil's been everywhere. He's been mid. He went for a dive down bot when the light was still, you know, backing and kind of in the base. The light's still on the move here. Kanavi is going to find the Nautilus, but guess who's also here? It is Willer, who's just smiting the Krugs while this is all happening.
Yeah, hard for them to chase further. You can see Andil was kind of trying to bait, but I think they were wise to it. Now looking for an engage.
This time the hook is going to miss.
I didn't see, was Guma's spell shield on cooldown before that? Because if it wasn't, I feel like he was not the target you want to go for. Again, that rotund hitbox was right there.
Yeah.
From the Bard. But I guess Guma does have no flash, so maybe that was the thought process. Either way, you see HLE able to disengage from the play. Honestly, I will say, Rich isn't too bad, doing too bad. Considering how the lane started, I thought he was just he was going to be in the hole. But he's like a bit behind in farm. He's only lost 1 plate so far. He hasn't died. I think you're doing about as good as you can hope to in this matchup.
Yeah.
That being said, the problem is, as the game goes on, if you end up leaving your tower isolated, it will just get melted in seconds. So
yeah.
Something to be aware of.
It's pretty fun to start getting these double AD carry comps once again with the increased prevalence of AD carries in the top lane. There's the spell shield gone, and Delight's not here again. Now there are 4 people in the bot lane, and Guma's alone. I mean, what do you do against this? He's just going to die. LazyFeel picks up the kill, and I really love this aggression out of Kiwoom DRX.
Yeah, great set plays. They burn the spell shield first. Andil ensures that cooldown is unavailable, and it makes the dive so easy to pull off. I'll be honest, with 4 members there, I'm not sure Delight really could have done anything to mitigate that. But I do feel like his timings have been a little bit off. Both of these dives, he's just been a bit late to the play on his reset. Not there in time to cover his AD carry. That being said, compared to the previous play, which was a 2-man dive, this 4-man dive, I feel like you would have just been there to supervise if you were here.
Yeah.
Or maybe to die as well. Solidarity.
Very true. Kanavi's level 6, so you know what that means. He's in the enemy jungle. But he is in a little bit of trouble. There's the Crescent card, and he's just going to take the magical journey to safety. Nicely set up there by Delight.
He did safely take it.
Yeah.
So able to disengage from the situation after trying to find an aggressive angle in there. I did feel like the game had been a little quiet for Kanavi so far. There's something going.
I mean, this is the trading pattern of Tristana. But Rich is fine. I mean, he's a little bit behind on CS.
I mean, Gnar has good base damages, especially if you're proccing the passive, and he has just stacked a lot of resistances between the Warden's Mail and the Doran's Helm. A good amount of armor to help cut down Zeus' damage.
Looks like our junglers want to go for this objective on the top side of the map. We did have the Drake taken by Willer about a couple of minutes ago. But everybody's kind of grouping up for this one. So no Crescent Guard right now, and Kanavi is going to have to flash away, showing a little bit of restraint, but that was a pretty obvious moment where you're not going to win that fight.
Yeah, have to respect. As soon as the CC layering starts to come through, it's going to be such a problem, so they back away. But also seen Rich move down, but now Rich is reset. Andil looks for Zeka, doesn't find it.
Yeah, Zeka's not doing a lot of damage right now. He just has kind of the Anivia build. And just trying to play for some grubs there, going to get a couple and get away.
Able to disengage from the situation after picking them up. 1,200 gold, the lead for Kiwoom DRX. And Realm Warper Batacom available again. If I am Sivir right now in this game, I think I'd be a little bit concerned about that.
Yeah.
See if they go for Gumayusi again. That's just kind of been the focus. And Rich doing pretty good in these trades, all things considered.
Yeah.
Zeus the one who has to actually have to ult the Gnar away. Like this matchup maybe not going as well as Zeus had hoped.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a free farm lane for Zeus. Like, he just plays Tristana, he's going to scale up, even if he doesn't have a huge amount of pressure into the Gnar. You just kind of sit there, harass him, and then farm, and don't miss any CS. Zeus is getting in there, or Zeka is getting in there. Zeus, the one who's playing Tristana.
I feel like it's, you know, both these mid laners are going death by touch, but Cassiopeia just gets so much more damage from it with the poisons.
Willer kind of checked that brush, but didn't quite get into the brush. I mean, there's just a control ward there. Is that Albert?
Perhaps.
Can it be Gilbert?
I feel like it's just going to get spotted out, though. Surely? Kanavi's walking back. Nope.
I mean, the thing is... Oh, you were talking about that one. I was talking about the one that Willer missed.
Oh. No, there's no way that one stays for that long. They check that brush all the time.
Well, he just kind of checked, so I'm wondering if, like...
No.
He went in there, he's like, okay, there's no control ward.
Andil is going to walk past it right now and clear it. It's going to happen in 3, 2... What? He walked past it.
You were saying? That's a lot of damage actually into LazyFeel. And Gilbert's doing just fine in the brush, but I'm not sure about the HLE bottom lane here. They're just going to go on the hunt and clear the wave. And with Kanavi nearby, looks like they will show some restraint themselves.
This time Delight's there, has the Tempered Fate as well, and with all summoners available, just not the easiest dive to pull off. They didn't have Ucal there ready and available. Navi, though.
He's going to find some friends. And he doesn't have his flash, but he does have the Crescent Guard back. Delight's here, ready to save with, yeah, Kanavi's going in as the binding is going to miss, and Kanavi's getting low, and they're not even able to take out Andil. The flash on into Guma is not quite going to go all that well as Guma picks up the kill. And now Willer getting extremely low. That Cassiopeia getting so much value in this extended fight. TP from Rich into 2 people, and he might just die. He already flashed. He's not Mega Gnar. He just TPs and dies.
Absolute decimation there from HLE, able to clean up a bunch of kills. And Kiwoom DRX just didn't really feel like they had a clear structure. Gumayusi is going to have to flash away from the Ryze. We'll respect Ucal's damage. But yeah, so they go for Kanavi here, but it kind of works beautifully for him because he Crescent Guards the Ryze out of the Cataclysm, and then Ucal can't really get in to do damage. So even though the Tempered Fate comes in from Delight, I don't think it was actually that needed in that moment to save his jungler. Now, even though they take down Kanavi, there's still so much DPS coming out of HLE with Zeka and Gumayusi just kind of free hitting, and then this TP, as you had talked about.
They're really trying to bully Kanavi a lot in this. But they don't know that he enjoys the pain of the fight. Or something like that.
Tussle.
He's a warrior.
So Zeus is now 1,000 gold up in the matchup. So you're kind of talking about just needs to scale up. It feels like he's starting to scale up. We do have the...
It's Chemtech Soul again, Aux. I wasn't going to say anything, but like this is the 3rd time in a row. What happened? What was it, 2 days ago? What was that about?
It's just one of those periods.
Yeah.
One of those days.
Chemtech Soul too powerful.
Yeah.
More than Aux, I guess. Okay, they're going to catch Andil here. And he doesn't have his flash, so I think eventually, yeah, just goes past the tower. And Andil's not very long for this world as, ooh, a nice little locket there at the end. Does mean that Kanavi picks up a kill.
Okay, so Andil taken down. The Tempered Fate catches him out. Blight doesn't get the timing right on the stun, but will be able to dispatch the enemy support. Both of the mid laners going for the Greaves. Now, these ones aren't gluten-free. We've established that. The mid lane ones have gluten added.
Yeah.
So you've got to be careful of those. But going to get that. Because they give the Omnivamp, they also give extra damage above half HP and more healing and shielding below half HP. 15%. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking when Ucal gets Actualizer and he pops that, if he's under half HP and the Seraph Shield activates, that would be crazy.
He is going to be surviving. He is a survivor.
Yeah.
But he was an Actualizer? No.
And especially if you add in the healing and shield power from a couple of Chemtech dragons.
Yeah.
Maybe having Chemtech Soul is not so bad.
Yeah. Feels like you're purposely not doing your job.
Me?
To
Never.
let this happen.
No.
By the way, both Gilbert and Albert are dead. Both those wards did eventually go down.
Yeah. I think they're just in a too well-traveled area.
Yeah.
Or areas. I feel like you have to get like a little bit sneaky. Path less traveled. Ucal will...
Oh! The circle denies the circle, and some other circles come down, and they circle Ucal's name on the list.
Ucal was like, I have to leave the circle, and he did. Unfortunately, he also needed to be in the circle.
Yeah.
It did kind of look a bit like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
And there was that little sweet spot he could have maybe gone to, but he will go down. Good pick there from HLE. Now, Kiwoom DRX just moved straight for the Herald. There is TP on Zeka, and they're moving in to respond to this.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go for the rotund hitbox of the Bard, and the light just kind of dies, but that's a lot of damage into a Bard, as now Kanavi gets right in their face. Tons of damage out from the bullet time, but not onto Kanavi, who is still alive. Double kill here for Zeka, and meanwhile, a solo from Zeus on the left side, who is looking for more. The Mega Gnar comes in, but the push away for Rich right into the team, as Rich eventually will go down. Ucal is full health and full mana, as he will eventually take this one down. Triple kill for Ucal.
And a fight that looked like it was starting to go really in HLE's favor gets turned around by Ucal, TPing in, cleaning up multiple members. So this is the play where, unfortunately, he didn't find the exact spot to be in. Had to walk around the Tempered Fate, was just outside. Unfortunate for Ucal here. But it then ends up being him TPing in to make the hero play. The fight starts off with Bard getting bounced around and dying. And then Kanavi goes for the super aggressive play with a flash in to ult to knock members back. A lot of damage from LazyFeel before he gets stunned by the Cassiopeia. But they can't really chase further onto Ucal here. And he's very healthy, very tanky. He has a tower behind him. He's just pumping damage out throughout this fight. So this is now a very fed Ryze with a triple kill coming in. Coaching staff obviously overjoyed this situation.
He's gonna get away. Not sure how that started up. Ucal, he is ready to go. So we're 8 seconds away from the ult from the Tristana, and already a lot of damage. And here comes Willer, right after he gets the Rift Heralds.
Wow.
Picks up the kill.
Just that easy to find Tristana. Isolating the side lane, picks it up. Herald gonna come down. Ucal's going to be so... He's already so fed. He's going to be crazy fed after this. He also has, as we said before, the glutinous Greaves.
Yes.
So... we'll have a lot of stacks on those already. He's going towards Rocket Belt there instead of the Actualizer.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Not an actual Riser.
Yeah. Now Zeka in a little bit of trouble, but he does have the Petrifying Gaze, is going to find one, and now the bullet time angle is huge from LazyFeel. Tons of damage on a 3, going to take down those three and immediately just go for the dragon. Big fight here for Kiwoom DRX.
Huge team fight. Kiwoom DRX just not missing a beat when it comes to target selection moving forward. HLE feeling a little bit lost in comparison and not really able to make headway. So we'll see initially that play on the top side. Ucal just runs up on Zeus. Zeus gets rooted here. Tries to get away with a jump, but just gets annihilated by Willa. And in this play, Andil gets some initial CC onto Kanavi to start the fight, but then they just turn straight on Zeka. Zeka gets chunked out, and despite being able to ult the Ryze, gets deleted. The MF ult from a crazy angle, kind of in the backline of HLE, but exactly where LazyFeel needed to be. And then Gumayusi has to flash out, and that Sivir with no flash is such a vulnerable target for the Jarvan.
And that's pretty interesting. We saw a lot of Ryze Realm Warp value into Diablo on Nomshin. That was, I guess, yesterday against Bro. And just essentially flanking them. And it was really cool to see Ucal essentially say, no, Zeka, you can't run to the bot lane. I'm just going to put my Realm Warp here. And now you're kind of up against a wall and a Nautilus. And this Nautilus has been getting so much value. Just the engaged potential and the threat, especially now that HLE are behind. And down 3 Drakes as well.
I also think like the composition of Kiwoom DRX feels more structured, right? You have the typical front line, you have the backline carries. Feels easier to play in that regard. Just like a standard sort of team fight composition you would see. Whereas for HLE, yes, they have a lot of threats, but also a lot of moving pieces, and the only real solid front line is Kanavi during his Crescent Guard. Outside of that, everyone's quite fragile.
Yeah, and we've seen Zhao's in that kind of position not really excel. Ucal gonna pick up a full turret in the top lane. And the funny thing is that he's not even the biggest gold lead because Zeka picked up 4 kills in this game already. Biggest gold lead is in AD carry currently. LazyFeel definitely enjoying himself so far. This is kind of an interesting position. I think if you... Oh, they're trying to get Andil here. They had him on vision, and the two of them are just backing together. They wait for one of them to go away, and they pick up the free Nautilus.
Honestly, pretty heads up play from HLE, and now... Oh.
Uh-oh. Gonna catch him. Tries to get it down, but the flash immediately from LazyFeel is great in the bullet time. So much value. And they are going to push them away under the turret as HLE's aggression gets punished. And now Guma out in no man's land. Willer with the flank. And you can see that Zeka trying to do some damage to Ucal, who's going to come back into the fight. LazyFeel getting low. And then Tristana actually going mech mode in the back line. And now Ucal isolated. Zeka picks up 758 gold. And not a bad fight, I would say, here for the side of HLE, given how it started.
Yeah, I mean, it started in a pretty rough way, but they're able to turn it around. Zeka coming up huge there. I mean, honestly, it started pretty good for HLE, and then it went rough, and then it got good again, is the trajectory. They find Andil here, isolated on the recall. They then look for LazyFeel. This is the point where it starts to go bad. Because the flash is available, the light doesn't manage to catch him out. He's able to get this ult off. It's only a tick, actually, but he gets the damage down to kill Kanavi. And then in this follow-up play, this is when Kiwoom DRX go a bit too far. The threat of Zeka is a real relevant aspect. Ucal Megacone's back in to try and 1v1 Zeka and just isn't able to do so.
Yeah.
The Cassiopeia shredding at that point. And in the end, both teams have 2 members left. Now, Rich looking for Zeus.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his jungler nearby, and they certainly wanted to go in on that, but I think because he had flash, they're going to hold back. But Rich even nearly able to proc into that Mega Gnar in the play. And this is very soon to the Chemtech Soul, actually, to the side of Kiwoom DRX. So they definitely want to set up a play and some vision here. There's a ward behind them, but Zeus is Tristana and doesn't have TP anyway.
Yeah, both mid laners super strong right now with their boots stacked up pretty high, given that there's been a lot of kills traded and 3 core items completed.
I think we're going to see an actualizer diff here.
May well.
Because Ucal went for Rocket Belt. It's a good item. It's a great item. Lots of people are building it, but it's not actualizer, which just provides so much burst damage. And now looking for LazyFeel. Nice sidestep there to engage. They go on to Zeka. He's not able to play the game. Still alive actually for a while, but eventually does go down. And now the Gnar is huge as he gets in the back line. Guma is left alone. And the double kill goes to LazyFeel, making a triple. And Zeus is not able to help out in the play.
HLE try and throw out and engage, unable to connect onto the right targets. And then the counter from Kiwoom DRX is just massive. The bullet time connecting on a Zeka, chunking him out. And this is going to be soul for Kiwoom DRX. On top of a pretty big goal lead. We see the extra movement speed for the MF. Helps LazyFeel dodge away. Andil with the ult flash. With a follow-up from Willa. With a bullet time on top of it. Zeka, who's the strongest member of HLE right now, just doesn't get to play the game. And then it's just easy cleanup from there. Gumayusi tries to take down LazyFeel. Nearly does. But the healing from the Bloodthirster does save him.
Yeah, I feel like the most surprising thing for me was how quickly Kanavi died in that fight. Like, their front line just got melted. And you talked about it before, how this front line is like, well, if the Xin Zhao's Crescent Guard up, surely he can kind of stand there for a little bit, and then he dies. And even in that fight, he Crescent Guards and just kind of dies anyway. And again, the flanking Tristana wasn't very threatening. They kind of just ignored him, killed Zeka, and moved on. So Kiwoom DRX powering up.
With his Kiwoom DRX composition, you have so many engaged tools.
All right, going on in here. This engage not as clean for the set of Kiwoom DRX. They're going to find Zeus, but it's only Rich getting in on that one as Kanavi taking so much damage as he goes into the MF in his Crescent Guard and just dies. Guma is Sivir into the J4 and just gets cataclysmed. And that's something we were very worried about. Kiwoom DRX are pushing, and they have so much power at this point in time. Rich going to be pushed away. Can't get the kill on a Zeus.
I mean, there's 4 dead. Zeus is low and has to reset. They definitely get the inhib. Will they try and push for more, though, is the question. Based on how Andil is tanking the wave, I think they're trying to go for the end.
It's not the fastest push, but I think with the death timers here, 10 seconds on Kanavi, and the light's going to come up, but you do see that Zeus is just pushed away. They're going to take down the 2 Nexus turrets and just go all in for this one. They get the kill on a Zeus. As Kanavi does come back, they're just trying to hit the Nexus, and they get it down. Kiwoom DRX win game number 1 as Vietnam goes wild.
Showing up huge in this game 1. You can see the fans overjoyed. This was such an uphill battle to go up against the top team.